Hi, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here with you.
So happy to have your book in my hand. It's called Poems and Prayers.
Yes,
Um, they say like life's about timing, and sometimes the right book comes out at the wrong time or however it works. This one to me is like the perfect fit. When I was holding it and reading it, I thought this is meant for this moment right now. This is why this book
Good.
is needed.
Well, I don't think I'm alone in feeling like belief is in short supply, or that things to believe in the world are in short supply, or at least confusing. And I think that's why I wrote it. I found myself looking around going, I'm not seeing I'm listening to the news. I'm seeing how people treat each other, and I'm going, I'm not seeing things to believe in. I'm not even seeing reasons to believe. And I started to get a little cynical myself.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Looking down my nose, objectifying people, thinking like, for no reason that the people were giving me, just kind of going, well, I'm not going to believe in the best of them because they're probably going to let me down.
Yeah.
They'll fail. They'll screw this up. They'll lie. They'll cheat. They'll steal. And that first scared me, and then it pissed me off. And I was like, no, because I swore to myself years ago, decades ago, man, that don't become the cynic. We're born innocent. We become maybe naive. We get educated. We get knowledgeable. We get skeptical. Good, but let's stop there. Because the cynicism, I think, is an early death.
These are like, I feel like some of these are just conversations that you're having with God, and some of them. They feel very intimate.
Yep.
They feel very inside. Just to back up a little bit, was faith something that you leaned on throughout your life? I mean, usually it's when you lose a parent or something terrible happens, you go there.
I've leaned on it in the hard times. Later on in life, I learned to lean on it in the good times.
Oh, that's interesting.
With great success, I needed faith to give me humility at times. And then slowly, and still I'm learning how to have that humility, but still not lose confidence. Because I had a bad relationship with humility. I for a while, thought it meant like recede, let your shoulders come over, until I heard the definition humility is admitting we have more to learn. I heard that definition. I'm like,
wait, back up. That's a good one.
Admitting we have more to learn. Isn't that?
That's so much better.
My head's still up, my heart's still high, I'm still confident going forward, but humble. And to sift through with some success I've had, what's the BS from what's real? What's worth giving credence to, and what's worth going, don't give that too much credit. I've also had my agnostic years where I did not believe, where I fully said, it's on you, Matthew. Self-reliance is king, and it's key, and that's what you got to be. Put your hands on the wheel. You're responsible. That's it. I came back to God, and what I did hear him applauding, going, thank you for the courage to say it's on you. I need more people not
good.
just relying on fate. I need more people going, it's about fate, but it's also about free will. It's about faith, but it's also about responsibility and having your hands on the wheel. And so I was able to laugh at that. And of course, if you're a believer and you have faith in God, always there waiting on the other side of the door whenever you're ready to come back.
I like let me see if I'm opening it to the right one. Hang on. I dog-eared a bunch of them, and anyone who's getting this book will be doing the same. Here's it. Dear God, seems my sight's getting in the way of your sound. So many signs you left me and I never found. When everything's significant, that there's no significance at all, I'm down on all fours with nowhere to fall.
Yeah.
This goes on. It is so beautiful, but this is, what are we talking about here?
So much information, stimulus in our world. Again, we were talking earlier, what do we believe in? There's so much knowledge, per se. There's so many facts. Too many, you start to wonder, well, what's the truth in all that? Is more of this knowledge making me smarter, wiser, less stressed? No, it's making me more stressed, more confused. I'm not sure what's virtual from reality, what's false from what's true. And if you give everything significance, if you make every little thing significant, there's really no significance at all. It goes back to that skepticism and being discerning. There's certain things you have to go, I'm not giving a crisis. If you give every crisis credit, you're going to wallow in the drama of the red lights of your life. There's certain crises you got to go, I'm not giving that credit. I'm not going to give that any significance. It doesn't deserve my time.
Right.
But to weed through that in life is tough.
Like pick
in this
and
great
choose.
information
Yeah.
age.
Well, we don't
Where
have-
do we go
Yeah.
for those facts? What is our newscaster? What is our editorial that we go, this is the one I want to believe? And maybe not just the one that agrees with my personal politics, but the one I want to believe is the facts. It's very hard to find. So this is at a time, that point in particular, is at a time when many times in my life when I'm like, I'm getting more knowledge, but I feel more confused.
I feel like sometimes everybody's screaming and nobody's quiet enough to think for a second, to even think what they believe. When you're watching yelling matches night and day, and that's what you consume, I was thinking about that even myself. When was the last time I was quiet enough to ask myself, really ask myself, like, I only have so much grief that I can give to different crises in the world. We have a certain limit.
Yes.
We can't keep giving it to every single thing. So how do you keep your tank full on days when you are like, holy moly, I got nothing else here?
I usually start with baseline gratitudes, which I was raised on, and became more than just a sticker on my mom's refrigerator, but became ingrained. Just the basis of, hey, the sun rose this morning, you woke up. Don't you dare think that was guaranteed. Now let's look around. Oh, is that my kids out here in the other room? My wife just brought me, I came down and said she made me a tea. And she already left. And oh, no, that was guaranteed. So I start to look at those. When I feel too much pressure of having to accomplish or not seeing, beauty in the day or feeling the freedom that I want to feel, I also have to remind myself this is going to pass. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes I had a night full of nightmares the night before. I got to get out of the funk. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my POV. Maybe it's the tune I'm listening to. I gotta get upside down and backwards and turn everything inside out and start over again. Go back to the damn room, get back in bed, and get out again sometime.
Do what we do, yeah.
But when it's the outside world and you're looking at it and you're going, man, I'm not seeing things to believe in. I'm not seeing a track that I'm looking forward to, which I think the best definition of happiness that I can tell is having something to look forward to. Just a reason to get out of bed of something like, you know what, I'm going to go build this thing.
Yeah.
And this thing that I'm building today, hopefully it's connected to our past, and hopefully it's something we want to build towards our future. That seems to be the baseline of what most of us find some sense of satisfaction within our day.
I feel like you're building something that's different. I mean, I've interviewed you a few times, and each time I feel like you're inching closer to something else.
Right.
Like you came on when you had your other book on. Obviously, we talked a lot about that, Greenlight. Then we talked about, are you going to run for office? And you're like knocking, I'm not sure, and then you're back. You have this book, which is touching the soul of people. I mean, acting now, look, I consider you a world-class actor, and I love all your films, and I can't wait to talk about this next one. But I feel like you're turning, like something's happening, like you're going somewhere else. Yes, like, where are you going?
Okay, so part of the writing of Greenlight's part of the writing of this. I don't mean to be glib about this, but it's me going, hey, instead of playing a character that someone else wrote in their script, that someone else is directing, that someone else is lensing in the camera, that someone else is editing, create the character. What are you doing in life?
This is you.
In the big show that we're all in, where action was called the day we were born and cut will be called the day we leave this life. What's going on in the documentary, the live show that is your life that's being recorded by the hands of time? What are you doing? That's what I've asked myself and been asking myself. That's what's woken me up in the middle of the night. After watch it, it becomes a very conscientious, especially when thinking about like politics. It's a wonderful exercise to ask yourself, what would you do if you were the leader, a CEO of a state or a nation, and you were a leader of that amount of people? You have to check in on your own values and say,
would you do?
Are those scalable? Do those hold to what's personal belief to me? Can that scale to be something that could be the best for the most amount of people? And to test that is a fun but hard thing to do. Very conscientious, can become academic. The reason I wrote this is because that arena, then you start battling issues, and you have contradictions, and it's sometimes it's not a fair fight. Well, I wanted to go above that and go, well,
there you go.
Isn't in a way God progress? That's not politics. God's progress. Or belief is even progress. That is above anything blue or red. It's above and in between, and encompasses both. Now, we still need, as a people, individually and collectively as a society, humanity, we need at least some sort of unsaid constitution that we can have expectations of each other for. And right now, those expectations are warbly. They're hazy to us. We're not sure what the rules of engagement are. We're awarded lie, cheat, steal. I don't care. You won. Boom, you get the prize. Whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean you get the prize? I thought there were rules of engagement. He still gets a pot of gold? Yep. Well, what are the ethics of the situation? I don't know. What'd the winner do? Well, yeah, but they moved the goalpost to win the game. I don't care. They won. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah, and by the way, if you do follow the rules, sucker. Whoa. I don't think any of us are ready to go. So that's how it is?
No.
And we shouldn't be ready to go there. When we're going to have to fight this thing, and it's not going to be, I don't think, kumbaya. I think it's going to be punk rock rage.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It's going to be it's going to take a bit of a rebellion. These ideas of belief are not old, dusty, traditional, gray-haired, on a pulpit, now you oughta. No. It's not mandates. It's not administration. It's choice. And there's dignity and ownership and power individually in choice. My hunch is that, yes, we need to pivot sometimes. Maybe some divorces are good for couples. Sometimes you switch jobs, and it's a good idea. But my hunch is that we could use one more step of effort before we pull the parachute and quit on things that we value in our life. And that would be overall and individually something that would be really healthy for us.
I love the poem that speaks to that very thing that you were just saying. And it's like you step in. Step into your relationship. Step in, stand into the conflict is what you're wanting people not to run away from it or silo up, but get in there.
And I think the first thing that we have to understand is let's admit that that's part of everyday life. We come up with great grand plans, and when our day does go just how we wanted it to, and we're in the flow, we tend to think, ta-da, I found it. This is my frequency forever. Guess what? No, it's not.
No.
You're either going to trip yourself running downhill and create a crisis, or the world's going to create it for you, and you're going to have to adapt. But to understand that those times, the crises, the hard things, when we lean into a resistance to overcome it, because we need something more on the other side of it, that's part of the rhyme of our life, daily life. That, to admit that that's the reality, can help us get through those hard times a lot more.
I think
easier.
One of the things about you is you show up. First and foremost, you just show up. You show up with this book. You showed up at Uvalde. You are somebody who stands in it.
Try to.
What were you hoping to? What were you hoping? Because I think about Uvalde. It's you feel like a knife here.
Yeah.
What were you hoping to accomplish? Were you able to accomplish something? And what do you see down the road when it comes to something like that?
Look, I went there. Camille and I drove down there initially to the hometown where I was born, just to try and listen, be there, be a shoulder, an ear where we could. Didn't go down there with an agenda, didn't go down there with a proclamation, didn't go down there with a sermon. Just went to go listen and see where it naturally took us. Afterwards, we went to D.C. and got to speak in the press conference. I just wanted to let's call it what it is, and everyone and maybe just help. Every time these shootings happen, there's voices that come out to say we cannot say this is just how it's supposed to be. That's the biggest fear, and I even hear that now. And isn't that quitting for us as a society to go? It's just kind of how it is. I think sometimes we think we're more evolved than we like to think we are, but that doesn't mean, and especially in America in general, America's the idea that we're always chasing yet. We cannot settle to go, this is how things are. We may never get there on equality or justice and all these things, but that's what America is. You don't ever go, well, it's just how it is. America's all about, no. We're not settling for that. We will keep churning and keep trying to get to that time that is yet and probably never arrive. But you don't quit singing your song. We don't quit singing our song and go, I guess it's just how it is. And that's the quitting I'm talking about, that we can't suffer from. That's the doubt, winning, that we can't fall to. The doubt does win, and we start to concede too often, we're all going to lose.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah. Do you think, do you have hope in that department?
Not a lot. In the department of like guns and shooting.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Practically, no. I understand the argument for the regulations. I understand the argument for that's my right. There's a concession in. At the same time, I've got a lot of those hard right, camouflage, gun-toting friends, and a lot of them are in my family. And it's not them I'm worried about. But when I talk to them, they would all say, I'll turn in my automatic that I only use to shoot out of a helicopter at hogs if we get rid of all of them and we can stop some of these mass shootings. They all say that. When you got them at midnight around a fire after a couple of beers admitting it, they all go, yeah, it ain't that big of a deal. I'll turn it in. Now, some people are going to hear that and go, no. This is about if the government comes, a tyrannical government, I've got to defend myself. I don't know. I understand that point of view. My hunch is that if that happens, it's not going to be a personal weapon that's going to defend you. And then I understand the argument, more would be on the black market. It could be worse, so now we've got to defend ourselves. I don't know what the clear understanding is when you especially have two sides before they even think about it or listening to the other side, just going, well, I'm going to vote down my party line because my party does that. So I don't have a lot of practical hope that it will be a political change. That's why I'm not talking politics in this thing. I think it's personal.
Yeah, but I think what's clear about this book is that this book is actually full of all kinds of hope. And what I like, you have one little stanza here, it's called Good Man. There's a difference between a good man and a nice guy. A good man stands for certain ideals. And when those beliefs are contested, a good man is not a nice guy.
Not a nice guy.
You talked about how in all the rom-coms you were in, people were like, what a nice guy, what a nice guy, what a nice guy. You didn't love that tag, even though it was fine. It was fine, but it wasn't, it didn't, like, you really are kind of a person of values. And I find it interesting that you took off working for a handful of years so that you could teach. I feel like you like acting a lot, but I don't feel like you need it. I feel like you enjoy it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Look, I went back and acted in this film Lost Bus and another film Rivals of Amzai, and I was reminded how much I enjoy it. It was actually like a vacation because it was a singular focus.
I love it.
And that was like, oh, wow, this is great. I can focus on one thing for 3 full months. I have such reverence for this craft. That's all I got to do. That was wonderful. At the same time, I don't need it like I used to for my own identity. I still want to challenge. Like I said, I'm interested in challenge myself going, what script are you writing?
Yeah.
In this show that's live?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Who are you playing? Yeah. Who are you? That scares me in the right way.
Yeah.
And challenges me in the right way. And I want to continue to put myself to the test on that. At the same time, like I said, going to act in a role felt like vacation.
Loved it.
Like, oh.
Can we talk about Lost Bus, by the way?
Yeah, please.
How cool. First of all, I saw the clips that have been out there running, and will you just tell me about this? Number one, I love that your son's in it. I love that your mom has a moment in it. And this is an intense role for you from what I've seen. Tell us a little bit about it.
So it's based on a true story. In 2018, there were these fires in Paradise, California, and it was the deadliest fire in California. I think 85 deceased. The personal story we tell, and there were many people who acted extremely heroically on that day. The story we tell is about this man who had come back home to Paradise because his dad had just died. He needed to take care of his widowed mom. His mom was now a widow, and reconcile a relationship with his son from a previous marriage. He also takes up a part-time job as a school bus driver. And on this particular day, he took kids to school and was supposed to go after school to go get the bus repaired. The fires were coming, but it wasn't a big deal. They always come. They'll put them out. All the first responders had gone over across the canyon to put the fires out, only to find that this particular fire jumped the canyon and was now bearing down on Paradise. So at a time when the first responders are returning to town to get into town, a mandatory evacuation was called. So you got all this outbound traffic with your first responders trying to get in. Now it's a mandatory evacuation. this bus driver turns around to haul ass home to go get his mom and his son who can't drive. Mm. And on the way, gets a call through dispatch. Yeah. I got 23 kids stranded on the east side of town. Does anyone have an empty bus? Well, guess who's got an empty bus?
You do.
What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do? Do you go get mom and son, or do you take the right and go get the kiddos? He chose to go get the kids. Wow. Where he picked them up, and also America Ferrera's character, teacher, Mary Ludwig, gets on the bus with those kids, and it's about that day. How do they get out? And the communications were down. All the cell phone towers were down. Dispatch was down. So this they had no communication to see if mom and son were even okay. Mm-hmm. God. So it's a frightening horror movie in one sense. Yeah. It's a big, huge action. I think the best fire movie I've seen for sure. Wow. And at the center of it, you've got a human drama. Wow. With two people.
That sounds, by the way, I mean, it sounds like a must-see. Tell me about your son being in it and what that was like for you as a dad.
So I didn't know my son, Levi, was interested in front of the camera. I'd never pushed him forward to it or never said, don't ever do it. He's been around it. He was always working on set, like in this particular case. He was already working in the camera department on set. And as I always pitched the story I'm going to do to my family, I did this one. He's like, well, how old's the son?
How old's the son? Oh.
And I was like, about 15 year age. He goes, has it been cast yet? I said, no. He goes, can I read for it? And I was like, huh. I kind of ignored him. Next day he comes back. Can I read for it? I said, huh.
Oh, really?
Next day he comes back. Dad, can I just read for it? I'm like, huh. Fourth time he comes back, I said, okay, now you're hustling.
Okay.
Let's have a seat. Now, let me just tell you, this ain't no show up with attitude thing. This acting gig is a rodeo, man. You got to have soul and go forward with no bullshit in your bones.
Yeah, yeah.
So this ain't no modeling gig. This is how it goes. Ba, 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 ba. He goes, okay, I understand. So you want to read? He had already prepared himself for a scene.
Oh, he was ready.
The script. I pull out the camera, my mobile device, record him. I'm like, all right.
It's pretty good. Okay.
Pretty good. Holding the camera. He's able to behave honestly. All right. I send it to the casting director and with a note. And I said, it's my son for the part, and I think it might be good enough for a callback. She writes back and says, I think it's good enough to send to the director. I said, okay, that's good news. But do me a favor. If you send it to the director, when you do, pull his last name off, please. Oh. I don't want it to precede him. I don't want him, if he happened to get the job, I don't want him to ever think, it's because of my last
dad
name.
got me. Yeah, yeah.
Right? So she sent it to the director. The director saw it and said, that's the kid. And then the casting director said, well, that happens to be Matthew's son. And Mr. Greengrass goes, even better. So cast him.
So wow.
Yeah.
How did that change the dynamic for you while you were there?
It's the excitement of, wow, I'm going to be in a scene with my son, playing my son. Meanwhile, Paul cast my mom as my mom.
This is hilarious.
So I got 3 generations of McConaughey's, and I'm in a scene with them.
I just want to encourage people to pick this book up. It's called Poems and Prayers. It's got I've dog-eared so many portions of this book because here's one. Prayer is paying attention. In a world that constantly consumes our thoughts but distracts us from tending to our spirit, prayer gives our soul a chance to catch up with our pathologically busy minds, providing us with the contentment of self-awareness that gives us enough hope to admit we actually do have the ability to live our life. Yeah. This book is full of great pieces of knowledge. It'll make you feel so good. It'll bring a lot of people back, I think, to prayer if you've forgotten about it. Yeah. It's got it all. Matthew, thank you so much.
Thank you came
to
see
me.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.